In a bustling city lived a young musician named Kieran. Known for his skill with the flute, Kieran had once played joyful melodies that could quiet even the rowdiest tavern. But recently, his music had become hollow, weighed down by frustration and doubt. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't find the inspiration to create something new. One evening, as Kieran sat by his window staring at his untouched flute, he overheard a traveler speaking of a temple high in the mountains. "They say its bell has the most beautiful sound in the world," the traveler said. "It resonates so deeply that it stays with you, even in silence." Intrigued, Kieran decided to seek out the temple, hoping the legendary bell might reignite his passion for music. He packed his flute and set out on the arduous journey. Kieran climbed steep trails, crossed rushing streams, and endured biting winds. Along the way, he encountered silence like he had never known before, a stillness so profound that it seemed to stretch endlessly. He began to notice the sounds around him, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, the whisper of his own breath. Finally, after days of travel, Kieran reached the temple and took in the beauty of the monastery. It was a serene place, nestled against the cliffs, with a single massive ancient bell hanging in its courtyard. A monk greeted him with a warm smile. "Kieran is excited to finally be here." "I've come to hear the sound of the bell," Kieran said. "They say it's the most beautiful sound in the world." The monk nodded. "You may hear it at dawn," he replied. "Until then, rest." That night, Kieran sat in the courtyard, staring at the bell. He imagined the melodies it might inspire, the notes that would spill forth like a cascade of water. At dawn, the monk appeared. Without a word, he struck the bell with a wooden mallet. The sound that followed was unlike anything Kieran had ever experienced, a deep, resonant tone that seemed to vibrate through the air, the earth, and his very soul. It was as though the bell had unlocked something hidden within him. But then, as the sound faded, something unexpected happened. The silence that followed was even more profound than the bell's tone. It seemed to hum with its own kind of music, a stillness that was alive and vibrant. After some time, he turned to the monk. "The sound is beautiful," Kieran said, "but the silence after, it's unlike anything I've ever known." The monk smiled knowingly. "The bell's purpose is not just to create sound, but to awaken the silence within you. True music is born not from noise, but from the space between the notes. If you can hear the silence, you can hear everything." Kieran stayed at the temple for several days, meditating and listening, not just to the bell, but to the world around him. He began to understand the monk's words. When Kieran finally returned to the city, his flute in hand, he no longer sought inspiration in the noise around him. Instead, he embraced the silence within. His music, once driven by his own desires, now carried the stillness of the mountains, the echo of the bell, the beauty of the spaces between the notes and the silence it left behind.